Every parent wants to secure a bilingual future for their child, but the challenge is achieving that goal without causing total academic burnout. The traditional desk study route often creates an illusion of progress. A student can spend years memorizing vocabulary lists and conjugating verbs on paper, resulting in high theoretical knowledge. But when they are actually stopped on the street and asked for directions, they completely freeze. This disconnect happens because forced, repetitive grammar drills trigger cognitive resistance in children. Cognitive resistance is the brain's natural psychological block against tasks it perceives as tedious and disconnected from immediate practical reality. We rely on quizzes and worksheets because they are incredibly easy to grade. But those traditional metrics only measure how well a child can pass a test. They tell us almost nothing about their ability to effectively communicate in the real world. To bypass that resistance, educators developed task-based language teaching, or TBLT. TBLT is an educational framework that uses the target language simply as a tool to complete a real-world activity, rather than treating the language as the primary subject to be studied. An after-school program called the British Cab uses this model extensively. Instead of putting kids at desks with textbooks, they assign them English tasks like cooking labs and creative sewing or theater production. This table shows the divide between the two approaches. On the left, traditional desk study is highly standardized, high friction, and easily measurable. On the right, experiential tasks are low friction and deeply contextual, but they are inherently messy and difficult to quantify. This creates a core dilemma for parents viewing education as an investment. You have to decide if paying for a child to bake cookies in English is a highly effective pedagogical strategy or just expensive bilingual babysitting. To determine the actual return on investment of this stealth learning, you have to throw out standardized test scores entirely and look at a completely different set of metrics. This chart maps activities. The y-axis tracks linguistic load, the x-axis tracks engagement. The British Cab's high-complexity tasks, theater, science, cooking, land in the top right quadrant. Students must actively speak to participate. The trade-off? Instructors won't stop a lab to correct minor grammatical errors. These high-complexity tasks are optimized entirely to build conversational reflexes. To achieve that immediate, confident output, perfect grammar is deliberately sacrificed. Looking at the bottom right of the chart, the focus shifts to low-friction, passive immersion activities. Things like afternoon cartoons, snack time, and park babysitting drop into the quadrant for high engagement but low active linguistic load. The primary benefit is psychological. Passive immersion builds a positive emotional association with the language, improving listening comprehension with absolutely zero study fatigue. The negative trade-off is the lack of visible output. Parents will not see rapid, demonstrable progress in their child's active speaking abilities. Programs also offer niche skill stacking activities, like guitar lessons conducted entirely in English. This unique combination creates what we call a double ROI potential. It is an educational outcome where a child simultaneously acquires a new practical hobby and passive language exposure for the cost of a single session. The major risk is that the two subjects become permanently linked in the child's mind. If the student dislikes the instrument, that frustration instantly transfers, creating resistance to the English language. For passive, task-based learning to actually function, the activity cannot be arbitrary. The engagement level has to map perfectly to the child's natural, pre-existing interests. While the child experiences low-stress immersion, the parent often experiences high financial and psychological friction. It is highly uncomfortable to pay premium rates for an educational service and receive 0 traditional grades, 0 standard pop quizzes, or progress reports to validate it. The ultimate long-term objective of experiential learning is contextual fluency. It is the ability to instinctively understand and use a language within a specific real-world situation, rather than haltingly applying memorized rules. Achieving that takes time. Parents have to surrender their desire for formalized, short-term data if they want their child to develop real-world conversational confidence. This matrix breaks down exactly who should and should not invest in this model, helping parents decide if it is the right financial choice for their specific scenario. A student falls firmly into the misaligned category if they need immediate, formalized academic results. If a teenager's primary goal is passing a strict standardized exam, like the Cambridge B2 within a 6-month window, the task-based methodology will completely fail them. Activities like creative sewing or guided nature walks do not teach test-taking strategies. They are wildly inefficient for targeted exam preparation. Deploying experiential, stealth learning methodologies to try and solve a short-term standardized academic problem is a complete waste of capital. On the other hand, the perfect fit is the burnt-out child. This is a student possessing plenty of theoretical English knowledge from school, but completely freezes the moment they are asked to speak it out loud. Throwing the student into a cooking lab or theater production strips away the academic pressure. It distracts them with the task, allowing them to finally utilize the vocabulary they already possess but are too anxious to use. To guarantee language success for a hesitant speaker, you have to solve for engagement first. You can formalize the grammar later.